Hello and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. I grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode will be going over the What Are series and we'll be looking at rogues more specifically. We're going to be looking at the specializations that they are. We're going to be looking at their PvP and raid kind of statuses. If they have any pets, which they don't, so don't need to look at that really. Their RP perspective and the pros and cons of them. Specializations, you have 3, all of them being the same genre of specs, so that is DPS. You have Outlaw, Assassination, and Subtlety rogues. Now, in PvP, you have 2 which are somewhat viable at the moment, and you have one that really isn't. You have Subtlety, that is the most viable, Assassination somewhat viable, but still very rough, and then you have Outlaw, which is just hot garbo at the moment, which is it is kind of what it is. It's a very rough, to say the least. But yeah, these are the specializations you have. Subtlety focuses more on you're going into stealth, you're going in and out of stealth, you're just hitting and running kind of type of deal. Assassination, you're looking to bleed your target, so constant bleeds up on them and kill them via that method. And Outlaw, you're looking at kind of going toe-to-toe with them. But the thing is, you can't go toe-to-toe with stuff that's like a Fury Warrior or an Arms Warrior, any sort of pure melee class, because you're not as tanky and all of that stuff. You bring nice CC, but the damage doesn't outweigh, what other melees are doing at the moment. So Outlaw's in a very poor spot, to say the least, but it is getting some buffs, which is really nice. Yes, PvP-wise, Subtlety is your strongest option at the moment. This is very much managing your vanishes and your shadow dances and when to do your secret tech damage. Secret technique is the biggest damaging source that you have at the moment, in PvP anyway. In PvE, I think it's very much the same. I would imagine it is, as secret tech is very important for AoE purposes as well. But they bring a lot of like CC and stuff, and that's their primary job within any sort of composition, the CC and the crowd control and the sort of setups that they can bring for the other DPS to kill something. For assassination, I should say, we have, let's say, it's gone down a bit since Deathmark's damage has gone down. Deathmark got nerfed a few months ago, and there's a lot of things that can cleanse bleed, such as Dwarven Racials, Mending Bandage from Hunters, with Evokers being in the game now, you have the Cauterizing Flame, or whatever it's called. So there are multiple ways to cleanse bleed, so they're not as effective. This is something that also does hinder them in any sort of meta, whereas Subtlety rogues can sort of kill anyone through anything. You don't really have anything to worry about, where unlike, having dots dispelled if you're a caster or your bleeds dispelled if you're an assassination rogue, you don't have anything to worry about that. All your damage is just raw damage. When you press your ability, it does the damage full on right then and there, compared to Assassination Rogue. So yeah, Assassination Rogue is a bit rough in PvP right now. For PvE, I think it's fine, but I think you're kind of just AoE garroting stuff, and it doesn't sound as enjoyable, I'm not going to lie. For Outlaw, I wouldn't even recommend it in PvP at the moment. It does everything that Subtlety and Assassination does, but it just does less damage. Just less damage overall. You're not as tanky. You just feel clunky. Is the worst way to put it, in all honesty, or is the best way to put it, in all honesty. It's not quite there yet, because the damage is very much substantially a lot less, we'll say. With regards to role-playing, you're very much playing the stealth class, the sneaking around, pickpocketing people, that kind of deal. So if that's kind of your deal, or your sort of RP element to go to, you're more than welcome to this. Some very cool sort of, pieces of gear that you can get leather-wise. you can look very dapper is the best way to do it if you look into RP as well. The pros and cons of rogues are very simple. The pros are the crowd control that you bring is the best in the game. The absolute best in the game. Blind, gouge, kidney shot, cheap shot, sap. You have so many different things. And then indirect CC. You have, for PvP wise, you have Shadowy Duel, which is a 1v1 duel and others can't see you in the duel. You have Smoke Bomb. So these are indirect crowd controls because you don't physically put the person in a crowd control, but others outside the Smoke Bomb can't target that person in the Smoke Bomb. That's a pseudo crowd control almost. And this is the biggest pro of rogues as it is. Another one for subtlety rogue is actually you're quite tanky. 2 vanish charges, which reduce the cooldown of everything, as well as evasion, cloak. You have actually quite a lot. Disarm in order to protect yourself against the melees. You have a lot that can protect you. This is due to the vanish cooldown, to be honest. It reduces your cooldowns by a certain amount of seconds when you use it, and I can't remember exactly how long it is. But Assassination and Outlaw do not have this. They might, but I don't think they have it as much. Obviously, because Subtlety has 2 charges of Vanish. I might be wrong. You might be able to get them like on other rogue specs, but I'm pretty sure you don't go actively out of your way to get them, which is a bit shitty more than anything. But a con for Assassination and Outlaw is that you are a bit squishier and you can be a very good target for most classes to attack and kill in an arena sense anyway. Another pro is obviously if you're looking to do some battlegrounds or start practicing PvP, you pick and choose your fights obviously through stealth. So if you find someone that you want to 1v1, you can easily sap them and, start your duel off almost. Whereas if you're trying to practice on any other class or most other classes, you can't really get that 1v1 time and that sort of real good practice in, because in a battleground, no one ever just lets you have a 1v1. It's always a like, oh, that guy's fighting him. Yep, let's dogpile them kind of deal. So yeah, there's a few pros and cons there, but honestly, Rogue is very fun, but it takes a lot of brain power. And I would say that Rogue at the highest level, takes the most brain power to sort of figure out, in my opinion, because it's more about, well, this is personally my from my point of view anyway, I can't manage combo points to save my life. It's a very rough thing for me, and I've never found it easy to do when playing WoW throughout my entire time. Like playing it. It's very weird. But yeah, that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for listening, as always. Do check out all the links down below. You have Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, constant stuff happening on all of them platforms. But yeah, thank you all very much once again, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.